Hi, I'm Joan, and Gary and I love sourdough bread. So anyway, today is the experiment, doing it in the Sprinter van. So come on in. So it's a new day. Hope everybody slept well. I did. So here we go. This is our 11. Yay. Can we all see? It decided to double. And let's look at the inside. Come over and smell it. Can you see? Bubbly, right? It does smell. It smells so good. I'm just saying. So let's not forget, what are we doing? We're doing the float test. Better float or I'm in trouble. Let's take a little bit out. Yeah, it's floating. It's floating. Can you guys see that? I'm gonna tip it so you can see that it's floating. All right. So that's how you guys know that your leaven's ready. Oh, well, one of the reasons. I mean, obviously, it's doubled in size. Sometimes it's rounded on top. I think mine may have gone down a little bit this morning. It's really bubbly, which you can see, and then the float test. Next mission. Now we're gonna actually start to make the bread, okay? Now, you'll see that my recipe makes 3 what I call medium loaves. They fit in my toaster. Number 2, I like more crust than not, especially because I put sesame seeds on it. So this is a size bowl. Nonetheless, if you want to, you can make 2 loaves out of this instead of 3, whatever. So now we're going to zero out your bowl. I'm going to give it a little teeny tiny stir down, but it doesn't have to be overboard. And the recipe's calling for 200 grams of my starter. Here we go. 48. Oh, geez. 206. Should we be neurotic and take a little out? Of course we are. Oh, look at that. Perfect 200. Exciting. So now, guys, what I'm doing, this is going to be my new old leaven. I'm going to add it to the other one. And what do you do with all this? Like, I just make crackers, I make pancakes, I make all sorts of stuff out of this. But for now, let me put this away. So I'm going to be adding my water. And first thing I have to do is make sure it's the right temperature. Of course, we talked about 78. Right now, I'm at 76. Not a big deal, but you know, we do want to do this right. So I'm going to, but I'm going to put it on just for a little teeny tiny bit. Like, I don't want to do too long. Okay, 78.8, that's pretty good. Okay, so we're going to add our water. We're at filtered water at 78 degrees. Here we go. So I'm going to give this a little stir. Just mixing it a little bit, incorporating the starter into the water. Okay, now we're going to add our flours. I'm going to add 900 grams of the bread flour and then 100 grams of the wheat flour. So we're going to do 900. It's a lot of flour. We're making 3 loaves of bread. Okay, here we go, 816. There's our 900 right there. Okay. So now we're going to add, I'm going to zero this out, and I'm going to add, we're going to add in 100. Success. Okay, there's your 100. So I'm going to take my rings off. One of the things you've noticed is that I haven't added salt at this point in time. That's really, really important part of the recipe that I do. We're going to be adding that later. But for now, I'm going to just try to incorporate this without making a mess all over the counter. It's not like you have a big countertop at home, you know, but I love this countertop. It's just, I'm so happy with this little kitchen. So happy with it. I mean, that's the thing, if you're going to build out a camper van, you have to, I mean, when I took a long time to design this, and you have to think about your life and your lifestyle and what's important to you. Like for me, and my husband, Gary, we like to eat, and we like to eat like homemade stuff. Like, it's nothing wrong with going out. Yes, we'll do that for once in a while, but like, I love to bake. I love to make my kombucha. I like to make my bread. I like to make Gary really like yummy meals. So I knew that I wanted to have the kitchen be an important part of the van. Like, look at the giant refrigerator. I mean, this thing's incredible. So cool. I love it. Like, I couldn't live with a little dinky refrigerator under my counter. That's just me. But some people go, you know, hey, I like to travel with, like, not canoes, kayaks and bikes and skis, and that's great because that's their lifestyle, and then maybe they're not going to spend much time, you know, cooking or baking. But for me, this is like something that makes me really happy. And like, there's nothing like cooking or baking and looking out the doors of your van as something beautiful. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's the water. Thank you, Lord. You know, there's the beach. There's like this beautiful field, whatever it is, gorgeous, you know? So that's just how I feel about it. It's just, for me, it's a great thing. Anyway, so let's talk about mixing this. Okay, listen, this is really important. You don't want to overwork it. Again, I'm talking about the mistakes I made in the beginning. I thought, oh, the more I mix it up, the more it's going to be. No. So this is where we talk about a shaggy mix. It sounds so weird. A shaggy mix. But right now, I'm going to use my hands for the rest of it. Okay. And I'm just going to come in, and my hands are clean, of course. I'm going to come underneath and make sure there's no water or flour laying on the bottom. And, you know, because it is 100% hydration, your hand's going to get, look at that. Okay, yeah, it is. It feels a little weird. But this is my shaggy mix. You see, I'm incorporating, oh, geez. Dang. We're going to be doing the stretch and fold, so you don't have to worry about being perfect right now. Like, honestly, this is enough. Okay, let me just clean my hands off. So this is enough for your shaggy kind of mix of the bread. And then we're going to go into the next step. Now that we have this shaggy kind of mixed up thing here of dough, I'm going to cover it, and we're going to let it sit for about a half hour with the warming pad around it. I'll set that up in a minute. My favorite warming pads. Because you want the bread to be 78 to like 80 degrees all the time while you're working with it, while you're doing your stretch and fold. So I have my shaggy mixture. I covered it with some cling wrap or whatever. And then it's important, I have my warming pad. And I'm going to, I know this is weird, but look, I'm making this little house now. There's a little warming area for it just to keep it warm inside. And 30 to 40 minutes, probably closer to 40, then I will take its temperature and see how it's doing, and hopefully it'll be 78 to 82 degrees, somewhere in there. And then I'm going to do the first stretch and fold. So we'll come back in 30 to 40 minutes. Oh no, I lied. We're going to add our salt. I don't want to screw you guys up. So anyway, we have to add salt after this 30 or 40 minutes, right? We need 20 grams of salt. Himalayan sea salt. I don't know, I just like using that. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're adding 50 grams of hot water to dissolve that. So I do boil mine and then dissolve it and mix it all up. Yeah, and then by the time the 40 minutes is up, it's cool enough to add in. So the timer just went off. We're at 40 minutes. I've taken my warming pad off, uncovered it. I'm going to now add my salt, okay? Get it all in there. Of course, my hands are clean, don't worry. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix this up. I know this is weird, but if you feel any little pieces of salt, just kind of pinch them in. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically get this mixed in there. And I always say you never want to like totally beat it up. Just kind of, you get a sense of like looking at the sides to see that it's mixed in really good. Like scrape it along the sides. And then in a second or two, I'm going to be doing my stretch and fold. Like and this is where like you can see the, you know, it's 100% hydration. It is really wet. But the cool thing when you're working with this is you can see as the time goes on, it goes from this wet blob to this really like fluffy, wonderful dough. It's so cool. But anyway, yeah, okay, here we go. I feel good about it now. So let's talk about our stretch and fold, right guys? Okay. So I'm leaving it in my bowl. Other people do differently, but for me, this just works. Again, this is my thing. You do whatever you want, but this is, for me, this has become like, yay, this has worked. So I imagine like 5 points on my bread, up and down, 2 and down. And you're gonna see a difference as we do this throughout the day. 3 and down, 4 down, and 5 down. Look how wet that is. And I'm gonna come back, cover it up, and do the routine. You already know, we're gonna put it behind the little heating pad, cover it up, and then we're going to come back and do another stretch and fold. Hey. I have this little like pad that I do my first stretch and fold was when we added the salt, and now I'm ready to do another one. And again, this is the first time I've done it in the van, so let's just see what's happening here. So we are at like 76, maybe a little bit more. Okay, so now we're thinking, okay, what do we do? It's not 78 to 82. I've got this thing on it, but I'm going to probably make sure it's a little bit warmer or a little bit more insulated for the next one. But I want to talk to you about stretch and fold right now, so let me get this out of the way. Okay, so let's watch this technique again. This is coming together a little bit. I'm going to go along the bottom, and look how I'm coming up about a good 12, look at that, 12 to 15 inches. See that? Stretch and fold. Thinking in fives, right? Fives. Here's another one. Oh, this is already turning out so nice, right? 2. Thinking in fifths. Okay. 3. This side. Stretch and fold. All in the bowl. Make life easy. Works for me. Okay. Stretching it. Very good. And I am going to cover it up again. And I know what I'm going to do. You guys, you're just watching me figure this out right now as I go. Because you know what? This is the thing. Like when I feel my countertops, they're a little bit cooler. So I'm going to put it on this. I'm going to wrap this around. And I'll probably put another towel on it. Or another something on top of it. Because I do want this to get to the 78 to 82, right? So anyway, I made my mark here for this stretch and fold, and I'm going to set my timer on my phone, stretch and fold, and I'm going to do that throughout the day, 3, 4, maybe 5 hours, depending on how things are going. But usually I hover around 4 hours, but again, it's the first time I'm doing it in the van, not in my house. Okay, so we'll be back. So it's been another half hour, and I've come over here and I've marked my thing just because that's how I keep track of it. So I just found this brand new carry bag my sister made for me, which is like kind of thick. I had another towel. So let's see what it does feel warmer in there. So let's just see if we have success with the temperature. And then remember, we put these silicone things on the bottom because the countertop is cold. So let's see if we're feeling good about this. Here we go. 7. So how's this? It's not the end of the world, but our goal is to get it up to 80 degrees if we can. 78 to 82. Right now we're reading at 77.4. It's not bad, you guys. So what I'm going to do, I'm doing my stretch and fold. Let me get this out of the way. Let's do our stretch and fold again, okay? Remember, in fives, and clean hands, of course, no rings on. Oh, one thing I wanted to tell you, this process, minimum of 3 hours, probably maximum of 5 hours for proving doing your stretch and fold. I generally am around 4 hours when I'm doing it at home. I might end up going to 5 if it's not the right temperature and it doesn't have the window pane test and all that, which we'll talk about later. So just letting you know that. So I'm going to put it back under, and we're going to hopefully come back in a hour. Hopefully it'll be up a little bit more in the temperature. We'll see what happens, okay? Back again. Okay, another stretch and fold. Let's just see, how do we feel? Do we feel lucky? Oh, yay. Come over here. Yes, hallelujah. So now here we go, stretch and fold time. So remember, and I want to talk about this. You know what, I hope this isn't like boring, because I'm going to show you every single stretch and fold till it's ready. The reason for that is because, oh gosh, look at that, yum. You're going to see that I treat it differently as we go along. I'm still coming up like the 12 to 15 inches on these early ones. And then you'll see towards the end, 3. Towards the end, I'm going to be a lot more gentle with it. 4. And this is hard because you can't feel it like I can. You can already feel the difference in the dough. You can already feel it. So this is success. Now that we feel we can keep the temperature where it needs to be. I'm going to cover it up, let you guys go. We'll be back in another half hour, and we'll check it again. We'll do another stretch and fold. Perfect. We are at our 5th stretch and fold. And again, oh yeah, look up. Oh, look at this. Come here, you guys. Look at it, it's getting puffy. Do you see the bubbles? That's very exciting. Okay, so stretch and fold time, right? Love those bubbles. Oh, now this is where it feels like so luxurious. Now check this out, guys. I'm not going up real tall with this one. I'm being a little bit more gentle with this. I'm not going to go crazy like 12 inches up in the air. 3, 4. My gosh, it feels so good. I know it's really weird, but it does feel really good. Look at that. Yay. Okay, same deal. Covering it up. We'll see you guys in a half hour. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are at the 6th stretch and fold. All right, so let's check this out. I feel very positive. The thing has got great bubbles in it. Can you see how rounded up it is on the top? See? Again, 5 times, but definitely going to be more gentle. Okay, this feels so good. It's very luxurious. Again, I'm not going to go too aggressive with it right now. So why do I say that? I learned the hard way in the beginning when I was just really stupid about this. I thought, oh, the more I do this, it's going to be better. I was developing so much gluten in the bread that it was not doing what it needed to do. It was just ridiculous. So we're going to cover this up. See you back in a half hour, and I think we're probably going to be ready. I'll do a window pane test next time around, but that's it for now. So here we are. I honestly believe we're at the last stretch and fold. I'm going to make my mark here, okay? Now, let's talk about how we're going to be sure. It has a lot of nice bubbles in it. You can see the bubbles. It does have a luxurious feel to it. It's really soft. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. Just very, very cushy, very nice. I'm going to do this last stretch and fold. Can you see the bubbles in it? Like, can you guys see the bubbles everywhere? It's so nice. Bubbles, bubbles, yay. The bubbles is kind of fun. And then let's do one more. So let's talk about, I'm sure the temperature is right. Let's just double check that real quick. So the window pane test. I know this is ready to go, but for those of you who want to be diehards and do that, basically I take this and I'm looking through, and you can't tell, but I'm looking through and I can see light coming through from the door, and it's not ripping. Do you see that? So I know the thing is good to go. So what's going to be next is, I'm still going to cover up gently. I'm ready to start putting the bread together in the tins. We're going to do the shaping. We're going to start doing all of that in the next segment.